and welcome back to English for Specific Purposes Level A2. We are your hosts. I'm Mr. Carter.
And I'm Miss Sophie. Previously, we have discussed many topics. We have talked about medicine, media, business, psychology, and today we are going to continue talking about architecture. But before that, let's look at our agenda together. Our lesson will start with a brief introduction. After that, we will learn some new vocabulary, which will be followed by reading comprehension.
After that, we will have a grammar activity, followed by the summary of the whole lesson in which we will review everything, and after that, a little bit of homework.
გამარჯობა. მე სოფო ვარ, ეს კი მისტერ კარტერია. კეთილი იყოს თქვენი დაბრუნება ჩვენს ტელესკოლაში. ჩვენ წინა გაკვეთილებზე განვიხილეთ და მოვიცავით ბევრი თემა. ვისაუბრეთ მედიცინაზე, ტურიზმზე, მედიაზე, ფსიქოლოგიაზე, ბიზნესზე. წინა გაკვეთილზე კი დავიწყეთ საუბარი არქიტექტურაზე. დღეს ამ თემას გავაგრძელებთ, თუმცა ვიდრე უშუალოდ გაკვეთილზე გადავიდოდეთ, როგორც ყოველთვის, მოდით ერთად განვიხილოთ დღევანდელი დღის გეგმა. დღევანდელი გაკვეთილი დაიწყება მოკლე შესავლით, ამის შემდეგ შევისწავლით ახალ სიტყვებს, შემდეგ წავიკითხავთ ტექსტს, ამის შემდეგ გავაკეთებთ გრამატიკულ სავარჯიშოებს, შემდეგ შევაჯამებთ ჩვენს გაკვეთილს და დავასრულებთ ყველასათვის საყვარელი საშინაო დავალებით. Shall we start?
Let's begin.
Mr. Carter, can you please tell us what kinds of homes are popular nowadays?
Well, Miss Sophie, I don't work in real estate, but if I had to say, I would probably say that eco-homes or ecology-friendly homes are the most popular because they cause less pollution and are more sustainable.
You are absolutely right. Can you please tell us, do you prefer to live in a private house or in a flat?
Well, Miss Sophie, I grew up in a house, so I definitely have some preferences towards that, but I like living in flats.
Sounds great.
Now let's move on to our first set of vocabulary.
ახლა კი როგორც კარტერმა თქვა, მოდით ერთად შევისწავლოთ ახალი სიტყვები. And our first word is iron. Iron is a noun, and in Georgian it means rkina.
Iron is a chemical element in metal. It is grayish, blackish color, and is often used in cooking and many other things that use metal. In order to make steel, one must process iron. Fun fact, there's also a little bit of iron in every human being in your blood.
That sounds very interesting. Iron, rkina. Iron, rkina. Iron, rkina. Our next word is also a material called glass. Glass is a noun, and in Georgian it means mina.
Glass is a hard, transparent material. Transparent means see-through material that is used to make windows, bottles, and other objects. Glass is made from sand.
Glass, mina. Glass, mina.
Glass,
mina. Our next word is brick. Brick is a noun, and in Georgian it means aguri.
Brick or bricks are hard, small blocks of material used for making houses and other buildings. They're often made out of clay.
Bricks are very important in constructions and building.
Definitely, Miss Sophie.
Brick, aguri. Brick, aguri.
Brick,
aguri. Our next word is wood. Wood is a noun, and in Georgian it means khe.
Wood is a hard material that comes from trees and branches from trees. It is often used to make homes and other things. Used for making other things, it can also be used as fuel for burning and keeping you warm.
Wood, khe. Wood, khe.
Wood,
khe. Our next building material is metal. Metal is a noun, and in Georgian it means litoni.
Metal is a chemical element like silver, gold, iron, or anything in that family. It is a very hard substance and is used to make all different kinds of things, from cars to buildings to phones to even jewelry.
Metal, litoni. Metal, litoni.
Metal,
ლითონი. Our next word is cement. Cement is a noun, and in Georgian it sounds quite similar, cementi.
Cement is a gray powder that when you mix with water becomes a building material. It can become very strong when it dries out. Cement is used to make bridges, roads, and buildings. If you have ever walked on the street or been inside of a building, most likely you have been around cement.
Cement, cementi. Cement, cementi.
Cement,
cementi. Our next, I believe this is the last word in this set of vocabulary.
Now let's move on to our vocabulary activity in which we will match the word with the best sentence that fits.
ახლა კი გადავიდეთ ლექსიკურ სავარჯიშოზე. ამ სავარჯიშოსთვის ეკრანზე მოცემულია განმარტებები. ჩვენ ერთად უნდა მოვიფიქროთ, რომელი სიტყვა შეესაბამება ყველაზე მეტად მოცემულ წინადადებებს. Shall we start?
Let's begin.
Our first sentence is a block of a hard material used for building walls and houses. Mr. Carter, what do you think? Which material is hard enough to be used for building walls and houses?
Well, Miss Sophie, the key word in this sentence is block. When we talk about a block, we talk about something that is already formed. The only material we have that is already formed in our vocabulary is brick.
Absolutely right, Mr. Carter. Brick is the right word for this definition. Let's have a look at another definition. A hard material that forms the branches and trunks of trees and can be used as a building material for making things or as a fuel.
Well, Miss Sophie, we want to look at the key words, and the key words in this definition are trees and branches. If it comes from a tree, it's probably wood.
Absolutely right. Wood is the right answer. Let's have a look at our next definition now. A chemical element, common grayish-colored metal. It is strong and used in making steel and exists in very small amounts in blood. I think our audience remembers you mentioned something about blood.
I hope so. So there's only one element that can be found in your blood in our vocabulary, and that is iron.
Definitely. Iron is the right answer for this one. And now let's have a look at the next one. A chemical element such as iron or gold, or a mixture of such elements, such as steel, that is generally hard and strong. What do you think is the right answer?
Miss Sophie, can I give them a hint?
Yes, definitely you can.
Okay, so we want to look at something that is very hard and can be made of iron. This includes many things. We know it's not cement because that is a powder that needs to be mixed with water, and we know it's not glass because that is transparent. So it must be metal.
Metal is the right one. Let's have a look at another one now. A gray powder that is mixed with the water and sand and other substances becomes very hard when dry, and it is used in constructions. I think this one is quite easy.
I think so too, Miss Sophie. How about you tell them the answer this time?
Definitely. So you remember Mr. Carter explained clearly the substance that goes well with the another mixtures like water, sand, or any other substances that becomes strong after drying is cement. Cement is widely used in constructions.
All over the world, Miss Sophie.
Definitely. And our last definition, and quite obvious one, is hard transparent material used to make windows, bottles, and other objects. Well, this one is the last one. However, the definition is quite easy too. The right answer is glass.
Now, let's move on to our second set of vocabulary related to the text.
ახლა კი შევისწავლით ახალ სიტყვებს. ეს ახალი სიტყვები ტექსტიდან არის ამოკრეფილი და ისინი დაგეხმარებათ ტექსტის უკეთ გაგებაში. Shall we start?
Let's begin.
Our first word is space. Space is a noun, and in Georgian it means სივრცე.
Space is a pretty easy definition to understand. It is simply an empty or open area that is available to be used.
Mr. Carter, I heard a lot of times people mention workspace, home space,
Free space, play space. All these words show different kinds of areas that are used in different ways. For example, workspace, a place you work, play space, a place that you play, or free space, a space that you can do whatever you want.
Definitely. Space, sivrce. Space, sivrce.
Space,
sivrce. Our next word is tiny. Tiny is an adjective, and in Georgian it means patara an tsire zomis.
tiny is a very easy word. It just means extremely small. So anything that is very, very, very small is tiny.
Mr. Carter, I remember previously we have taught another word that is connected to tiny, miniature.
Exactly, Miss Sophie. Tiny and miniature are very similar compared words.
Tiny, patara an mtsire zomis. Tiny, patara an mtsire zomis.
Tiny,
patara an mtsire zomis. Our next word is dome. Dome is a noun, and in Georgian it means gumbati.
Dome is the roof or the top of a building that is rounded. So anytime you see a building that has a curve on the top, that is the dome.
Dome, gumbati. Dome, gumbati.
Dome,
gumbati. Our next word is shape. Shape is a noun, and in Georgian it means forma.
shape is the particular physical form of any object.
Mr. Carter, when I'm describing certain objects, can I say round shape, star shape?
Exactly, Miss Sophie. That is exactly right. Anything that you see has a shape to it. You just have to know the word that defines that shape.
Shape, forma. Shape, forma. Shape, forma. Our next word is cozy. Cozy is an adjective, and in Georgian it means khudro.
Cozy is a comfortable or pleasant space or feeling. So anytime that you are, let's say, wearing a nice warm jacket and sitting in a comfortable chair, that is cozy.
Cozy, khudro. Cozy, khudro.
Cozy,
khudro. Our next and the last word in this set of vocabulary is wheel. Wheel is a noun, and in Georgian it means borbali.
a wheel is a circular object connected to a bar. Wheels are mainly used to make things go, such as bicycles or cars. Anytime that you see a car, it is on wheels.
Definitely. Wheel, borbali. Wheel, borbali.
Wheel,
borbali.
Now let's move on to our reading activity.
ახლა კი გადავიდეთ კითხვის დავალებაზე. Mr. Carter, what do you think? What is more comfortable, to live in a small or a big house?
Well, Miss Sophie, if you live in a big house, you probably prefer having large amounts of space, and that can be great if you like it. If you live in a smaller home, you probably like to feel more cozy, more comfortable. One good thing about smaller homes is they're often more eco-friendly.
You are absolutely right, Mr. Carter. And now we are going to read a bit about small houses. We often say, home is where your heart is. But often what makes a good home is a house that feels good when you are inside. In today's world, a new trend is occurring that is known as the tiny house movement, and it is becoming popular worldwide. Because of the constant access and stress of seeing so many different people's lives on social media, many people are trying to do the opposite. They believe a simple life is good, and so they are trying to live comfortably in the smallest space possible. This is due to the increase in the cost of housing market worldwide and land scarcity. But it is also due to people just wanting to escape the stress of taking care of a big home.
When people who don't own small homes see them, they first notice how small they are. But then they see them for being so cozy and comfortable. There's enough space for a bed, which often can fold up into the wall during the day. And there is a cupboard above and another one below the bed for clothes, a cute mini kitchen to cook, and a very compact bathroom. There are definitely sacrifices that must be made, such as a smaller wardrobe or book collection, and not as much room for furniture, but once adjusted to that, many small home owners really love their homes.
People can buy their tiny house ready-made from a company called MHS on the internet. MHS designs mini homes, and there is a choice of 8 different models, including an A-shaped, a box cube, and a round dome. The company also delivers the new tiny homes complete with the wheels, so the new owners can park it anywhere. And the customers who want to build their own tiny home, MHS sells the building materials complete with the plans and step-by-step instructions. Most people pay only $7,000 for their tiny home, so it's certainly inexpensive. But besides cost, Mr. Carter, what are the benefits for having a tiny house?
Well, Miss Sophie, many people think it's a great feeling to know that they are living simply and not wasting space or material with rooms they don't really need. Tiny homes use fewer materials and less energy, and it's so friendly to the environment too. Not only that, it's also definitely cozy, very cozy. And tiny homeowners definitely don't have much housework to do. While this trend is growing, it is still very small compared to people wanting regular size homes, but this growing number of small home owners appreciate what they are doing and think that when it comes to home, less is more. Now, let's move on to our reading activity, in which we will read one sentence and determine if it is true or false based on what we read in the text.
ახლა კი, როგორც კარტერმა თქვა, ჩვენ გადავდივართ კითხვის დავალებაზე. ეკრანზე მოცემულია წინადადებები, ჩვენ ერთად უნდა გადავწყვიტოთ, ეს წინადადებები შეესაბამება თუ არ შეესაბამება ტექსტს. თუ წინადადება შეესაბამება ტექსტს, ამ შემთხვევაში ვამბობთ true, ხოლო თუ წინადადება არ შეესაბამება ტექსტს, ამ შემთხვევაში ვამბობთ false. Let's start. Our first sentence is, people who own tiny homes don't want a simple life. Mr. Carter, what do you think? Is this sentence true or false?
Ms. Sophie, I think this sentence is pretty easy. If you want a tiny home, you probably want a very simple life. So this is false.
You are absolutely right, Mr. Carter. If you want a tiny home, you probably don't want to take care of the big things, big spaces. So this sentence is false. Let's look at the next sentence now. MHS offers 8 different designs for tiny homes. Mr. Carter, what do you think? Is this sentence true or false?
Well, Ms. Sophie, I don't remember the exact number, but I know they offer several different kinds of homes. How about let's look at the example?
Exactly, Mr. Carter. Let's look at the examples. As the text said, MHS designs mini homes, and there is a choice of 8 different models, including an A-shaped cabin, a box cube, and a round dome. This sentence, therefore, is
true.
True. You are absolutely right. Let's read the next sentence now. The bathrooms in mini houses are still quite large. What do you think?
Miss Sophie, I think the whole point of getting a mini home is so that everything is smaller, more compact, more cozy, and more comfortable. So it doesn't make much sense to have a large bathroom.
Definitely not.
I think this is false.
And you are absolutely right, Mr. Carter. The right answer is false. Let's look at our next sentence now. You can't build your own mini home. This one is very easy. What do you think is the right answer? I think you should give them some hints though.
Okay. Miss Sophie read about how one company offers a package deal where you can buy your own home and build it in order to save money. So that would make this sentence false.
Absolutely right, Mr. Carter. The right answer is false. Let's see our next and the last sentence now. Most of the houses cost around $7,000. Mr. Carter, what do you think? Is this the right number?
I do think this is the right number, Miss Sophie, because many homes are not very expensive, and $7,000 for a home?
It's quite a good deal.
It's a pretty good deal.
So this sentence is true.
Now, let's move on to our grammar section.
ახლა კი გადავიდეთ გრამატიკის ნაწილზე. On the screen, you see several sentences. The first one reads, there are some new houses. The second one, we do not have any house plants in our apartment. Is there any furniture in the room? Is the third one. Then, there is not enough space for all our books. The next one reads, there are too many books put in the bookcase. And the last one reads, we have too much furniture to fit in this room. As you can see, some of these words are highlighted. Words like some, any, not enough, too many, too much. They are all quantifiers. You can add quantifier before a noun to give more information. The quantifiers, we can use these quantifiers with both countable and uncountable nouns. For example, all, some, more, a lot of, enough, no, any, most, lots of, and less. We do not normally use certain quantifiers in a negative and a question sentence. For example, some is not used in a negative or question sentences. Instead, we use any. For example, do you have any books at home? Do you have any furniture? We don't have any books or we don't have any furniture. We can use some for offers and requests. For example, would you like some information? I want some chairs for my new home. The form, the quantifier, not enough plus noun indicates whether the number of something is satisfactory or not. For example, there is not enough space for all our books. It indicates that space is not enough for books. Too many plus countable noun indicates that the number or amount of something is too high. For example, there are too many unnecessary things in this room. Too much plus uncountable noun indicates that the number of something is too high. For example, there is too much furniture in this room. Please be careful. When you use too many, it indicates that the noun is countable. When you use too much, it indicates that the noun is uncountable. Furniture is uncountable, therefore we use too much. Books are countable, therefore we use too many. Let's practice what we have learned. In this exercise, you have sentences where certain words have been taken out. We need to decide which quantifiers fit the best to the given sentences. So let's start. They do not have blank flowers in the garden yet. They do not have any flowers in the garden yet. Remember, any used for negations and question sentences. We cannot use other quantifiers with questions and negations. Another sentence reads, are there blank cupboards in the bedroom? Are there any cupboards in the bedroom? The same way, because we have a question sentence here, we need any. The space in this room is blank for all the furniture we have. Well, probably it is a negative sentence because the space in this room is not enough for all the furniture we have. The next sentence, there are blank good restaurants in the neighborhood. There are some good restaurants in the neighborhood. There are blank problems connected to this building. Well, think about the noun. It is problems. This noun is countable. Therefore, You need too many. There is blank traffic in the main street. Because traffic is uncountable, we need too much.
Now let's move on to our summary, where we will talk about everything we learned today. First, we began with vocabulary related to building materials. After that, we read a short text about miniature homes, followed by grammar about quantifiers. Now, let's move on to everyone's favorite, homework.
მოდით ერთად შევაჯამოთ დღევანდელი გაკვეთილი. დღეს ჩვენ შევისწავლეთ ახალი სიტყვები, წავიკითხეთ ტექსტი და განვიხილეთ გრამატიკა. ახლა კი გადავიდეთ საშინაო დავალებაზე. For your homework, we want you to write a paragraph describing your home. You need to upload your homework on the address given on the screen. Do not forget to use the vocabulary and grammar that we have taught you today. We have prepared a template for you, but please do not copy-paste. We know you can do better than that. Our next topic will be culinary. Very interesting topic. Do not miss it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.